Nwokobia.
Yeah, let's do Nwokobia. I want to hear you talking about him.
So just kind of take everything that you said about him to get my opinion on him and completely reverse it because I thought he was a really solid athlete. I didn't have any speed concerns. I thought he had well above average range in center field. I thought he was a super fluid athlete with the hips to turn and play man coverage consistently. I thought he was, I would say, top three in terms of coverage stickiness in the class, where he is in that elite tier of baiting throws with, I think, really nice ball skills. For me, I just thought he was not about the run defense at all. I saw him making business decisions. I thought his play strength was a borderline liability. His tackling could be worse, but the thing is, he just doesn't use his athleticism enough, in my opinion. There would be all kinds of plays where he's maybe in a deep half and he arrives into the box a little bit late, and then the running back is breaking out of the congestion and he kind of just lets him run by and doesn't turn on the burners until it's too late and the running back is streaking down the field. Now he's got a full head of steam and you're not going to catch him. But ultimately, coverage is king. I did not think Nwokobia was a Michael Taft level liability against the run, and that was ultimately the deciding factor in why I have him so high. I thought Nwokobia was just really cream of the crop in terms of coverage.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that he was yeah. Nwokobia was a really interesting evaluation for me because he's listed at 6'1", 202, but he looks bigger than that for me.
He does.
But he's a big guy who can thump. There are some plays where, man, he just fucking hits a guy. But there, as you said, there's a lot of business decisions. It just kept leaving me wanting more in the run game. I think the potential's there as a run defender. I think it's so much higher than the potential with Michael Taft, but you need to put the effort in and you need to want it. And also SMU, it's not like they're the best coaching staff in the nation. They did a lot of great things with not the best roster last year, so they went to the playoff. It was a good roster, don't get me wrong. But you need to improve the run defense. And really, that's why I didn't have him that high, because I thought he was an exceptional zone cover in the intermediate. But when it got to the deep zones, I hated what I saw. I mean, hate is a strong word. It was just like, you can't run defend necessarily at the level I want you to. And I think he's only an average athlete. That's probably where we differ the most. I do think that he got quite a bit out of his athleticism in man coverage, especially. It really impressed me with his anticipation. I think did a lot of work for him. So maybe I'm missing something there. Maybe definitely worth a look back to see if I missed something with the athleticism. But as an intermediate cover, he looked like he knew what he was doing. He has that rare trait where it's just a guy goes behind me, but I still know where he is. And I can keep track of him. I know what I'm looking at, but when it got to the deep zones, it always felt like he was paralyzed with choice. If there's two guys running deep, who do I go to? Who do I go to? I don't know. And that lack of really good closing burst did show when it was in the deep zones, where it's kind of not a similar thing to Keon Sabb, but it's more of like, there were some situations where like I feel like you couldn't make a break on that ball when I think an NFL safety should have. And I want to see better with that. I think he left some ball production on the table as well. A guy that I really liked, and he was a fascinating watch, and I'm really excited to come back to him next year because he's smart in the run as well. He can come downfield and really see everything going on. Well, I want you to try more in the run game. I'm not saying he's not trying. I want to see more in the run game. And if you can improve that processor a little bit more and keep those man coverage chops, I think we're in business. But I don't know what he's going to look like a year from now. So, and what he looks like right now just wasn't enough for him to make the top 8. But there are definitely tools there.
So there are two things that I wanted to add. And the first one is, I just think it's hilarious how even in a player that we see dramatically differently, we have so many of the same strengths and weaknesses. For example, I was just talking down on his run defense. My final strength on him is sound gap discipline from deep alignments, never surrenders the cutback. I have takes the intermediate part of the field off of the map. I think he might be the best intermediate defender in this class. It's really special. And even me, who was talking about this athleticism, I have click and close ability just short of elite, prone to stumbling. So I did see some of the lack of ability to really snap space shut. That left me most frustrated in terms of athletic limitations. I did just think he was fast and for the most part fluid. And then the second thing I wanted to ask, do you remember what games you watched on him?
I think it was the TCU game. And did they play Mizzou? No, I'm thinking of Bray Hubbard. I can pull it up real quick. Because I can't remember exactly who I watched him off of. There's some
Oh, I
SMU
think I
defender.
watched
I
him
watched
off of
Elijah
the big
Roberts.
edge rusher. Yep.
Yeah. So I watched TCU and Stanford.
Interesting. So we did watch two of the three same games. I also watched him against Louisville because I was wondering if there was some game disparity there. Because that can muddy up the water so
Yeah.
much when you're watching different games. But
Sometimes
oftentimes
it's
the
tough,
summer
you
limited
just see
selection.
things differently. You just see things
Definitely.
differently. And yeah, the stumbling, I'm glad you brought that up because that was probably a bigger issue for me. It does not matter if you have all the athleticism in the world. If you can't come out of your back pedal cleanly, by the way, something I did not mention about Michael Taft, probably the person, even out of this past year's safeties, other than maybe Malachi Starks, he's the cleanest person I've ever seen come out of back pedal. Like it is just so smooth, so clean. When I talk about maximizing athleticism, that is an underrated part of your closing burst. It's just being able to stop backpedaling and come forward. Michael Taft is teach tape on how to do it. And Nwokobia is the opposite. He does not know how to come out of his back pedal. He needs to improve that quite a bit. The smoothness, I think, was another issue for me. I just didn't see it as much. In man coverage, I saw some of it, but when it came to flipping his hips in deep zones, again, I just think most of my issues with him were in deep zones. But again, like you said, intermediate zones, I saw everything I needed to. Just a weird watch for me, but a guy that I was excited. I really wanted to fit into my top 8 because I wanted to talk about him at extent. But I'm glad you did, and I wanted to talk about him. And another thing, the gap discipline, when you watch a lot of these safeties, these younger safeties, almost none of them can do it. I was talking about Robert Spears-Jennings earlier, how he's a great run defender, but even then, he wasn't incredibly disciplined in the gaps. Nwokobia is a really great at that specific trait.
This is a player who literally is not even on the consensus big board.
He is.
So I'm glad that I'm not completely insane as far as liking him a lot.